Whether you're a coffee connoisseur looking to up your coffee game, or you'd simply like to save some money while flavoring your morning coffee, this homemade vanilla syrup recipe is for you. With just 4 ingredients and a few minutes of your time, you can make a syrup that would cost you 2 to 3 times as much to buy in the store. Not only is it relatively simple to make, you might also be surprised with its ability to give drinks a burst of flavor. Okay, here are those 4 ingredients that you'll need. 1 cup of sugar. I like to use unrefined cane sugar, but white granulated sugar will work just as well. You can replace 1/4 cup of the granulated sugar with brown sugar for a more caramely rich flavor. Other options that I have not personally tried are sucanat and coconut sugar. 1 cup of water. Not much to explain here, just use good quality water. Vanilla. There are a few different types of vanilla that you can use to flavor your homemade syrup. Probably the most affordable way to make this coffee syrup is to use vanilla extract. It's also the most readily available form of vanilla. An easy way to make a vanilla syrup is to use vanilla bean paste. This is typically a mixture of sugar, vanilla seeds, and extract. Sometimes it also contains a thickening agent. I find that the paste lends a more intense vanilla flavor than the extract. You can also use a whole vanilla bean pod. Using vanilla pods is probably the most expensive way to make a homemade syrup, but it's also so much fun to use a real vanilla bean. A quick note about flavor: the type of vanilla that you use and where the vanilla was grown will greatly affect the final flavor of your syrup. For example, typically vanilla grown in Mexico has a much different flavor profile than vanilla grown in Madagascar. Also of note, commercial vanilla syrups often rely on vanilla flavoring instead of vanilla extract to impart the signature flavor. And finally, I like to add a pinch of salt to the syrup. This is optional, but it helps to draw out the flavors. If you use a hefty amount of salt, then your syrup will take on more of a salted caramel flavor, especially if you use part brown sugar. Now, another way that you can customize your homemade vanilla syrup is with the ratio of water to sugar. To make a basic simple syrup, you use a 1-to-1 ratio of sugar to water. In other words, you use equal parts sugar and water. But you can also make a rich simple syrup, which is made using a 2-to-1 ratio of sugar to water. This will of course result in a thicker syrup. I personally like a 1-to-1 or 1.5-to-1 ratio of sugar to water. After testing out the Starbucks vanilla syrup, more on that in a second, I would say that they use the 1-to-1 ratio of sugar to water. So if you're looking to recreate their syrup, use that ratio. If you opt for the higher ratio of sugar, you may want to increase the amount of vanilla a bit to accommodate. Okay, the steps to make the syrup are as simple as the ingredients. If you're using the vanilla bean pod, slice it in half, but leave a bit uncut at the top. This helps to hold it together as it cooks. Place the sugar, water, salt, and vanilla bean pod, if using, in a small saucepan. Bring to a boil over medium-high heat. Turn the heat down to medium-low and simmer for 3 minutes. If you're using the vanilla bean, turn off the heat and put a lid on top of the pot. Allow the vanilla bean to steep for 10 minutes. Then you can transfer the vanilla bean to your storage bottle if you like, or discard. Pour the cooked syrup into the bottle. If you opted for the vanilla extract or vanilla bean paste, you'll want to remove the pot from the heat and stir it in before transferring to a storage bottle. One recipe will make about 10 to 12 ounces of syrup, so select a storage bottle accordingly. You could either select a jar that has a wide enough mouth that you can easily fit a measuring spoon into it, or a bottle that pours easily. You'll want it to be an airtight container to help keep out bacteria or other pathogens that could spoil your homemade syrup. Another option is to purchase a glass bottle with a pump. You can either purchase pumps separately or purchase a bottle of vanilla with a pump included. Or you could purchase a syrup pump for a mason jar if you don't want to have an extra bottle floating around your kitchen. If you store your syrup at room temperature, it will only last for a few days to a week. That's why I recommend storing it in the refrigerator. It should last for a few weeks to a month in the refrigerator. A rich, simple syrup will last longer at room temperature since the higher sugar content preserves it better. You may find that it lasts for a long time, possibly months in the refrigerator. However, you may find that a rich, simple syrup clogs up your syrup pump more easily. Now, if you're wanting to recreate your favorite Starbucks drinks, it's handy to know how much syrup to add. I did a bit of research, and the consensus online seemed to be that 1 pump of Starbucks syrup is half a tablespoon. But I wanted to confirm that this was true, so I went to Starbucks and ordered 4 pumps of vanilla syrup. I figured it would rule out variations in the pump if I ordered 4 instead of 1. I took it home and poured it into a measuring cup, and 4 pumps were almost exactly 2 tablespoons. So you should indeed use half a tablespoon of syrup for each pump. Okay, let's go over the cost comparison. A 12-ounce bottle of store-bought vanilla syrup will typically cost around $4.99. One full recipe of my homemade vanilla syrup will set you back around $1.78, if you use all conventional ingredients. And if you use all organic ingredients, it will cost about $3.20. So as you can see, it's definitely a savings to make your own. I'll have some recipes linked in the description where you can use this vanilla syrup. All right, if you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to check out this video next to learn how to make espresso strength coffee if you don't own an espresso machine. I'll have some recipes, espresso strength coffee if